Assalamu Alaikum everyone, welcome back to another video. I hope you're having a wonderful day. So what I would like to do today is share with you guys the spreadsheets that I use, okay, all of them put together in one single file. Now, if you are, if you've been with me for a long time, of course, this is my portfolio, but of course I track my entire portfolio using my own spreadsheet that I put together, which I share with you guys on the Patreon account. Now, the reason I do that is because this is great, but the dashboard is not as, it's great. Of course, it looks nice and stuff, but I would have liked a little bit more information on this dashboard, okay? The dashboard for me is really one of the most important, about brokerage. Sometimes some of them I look at it, I'm like, this is absolutely dead. And this is all right. It's not really bad. I mean, you've got quite a few things in here. But if you want to find out like your total returns, and of course it tells you invested, how much you've invested, your return for now, but it doesn't tell me how much I've basically made in terms of dividends and things like that. The breakdowns, how much I made this week or how much I'm down this week. Of course you can see the graph and stuff, but that's not helpful. Okay, so this is the reason why I like to use my own spreadsheet that I put together, and I share all of these things on the Patreon account. So if you're interested in what I'm going to talk about today, then you can grab a copy of it on the Patreon account. Now, recently the main spreadsheet stopped working for the dividend side of things because the company that I get the information from, so a lot of the information is extracted from a website. So the website that I use normally have made some changes, so then I have to find a way around it, and I did that. I've updated, so your original spreadsheet for the dividend tracker for the US and UK versions, it originally has stopped working just this week. So I've now updated that, and I've actually notified you guys. So if you still want to use that one, absolutely fine, go ahead and use that. The one I'm going to share with you guys today is this one here. This one is a new one that I put together. Okay, more or less, I'll give you more information in a second. It has the dashboard. It has all the holdings that you can, the UK and US all together in one. You've got the dividends where you can actually put your own dividends, how much you received and so on. You've got the calendar to show you, okay, so the 22 dividend calendar, how much you made for each from each stock and so on. And then you've got the entire tracking, basically how many years you've been investing in the entire dividends and so on. It gives you the total and so on. And then finally you have the watch list. Everything, I put it all in one area because I do have it that way, and I found it really easier than actually having like 5 different files. And this is what I shared with you guys here, but now I'm going to share this with you guys, inshallah. So I'm going to go over very quickly how to use it, because there are certain things that we need to know before you start using this, because there's a lot of formulas and functions in here that I don't want people to touch, so because it can easily ruin. As you can see here, you've got the total invested, so that money is basically a formula. You don't need to do anything on this page. Basically you don't do anything at all. Okay, so you got the portfolio value, so this is how much you invested. This is where we are right now, your portfolio. Okay, you're up about £8,000. Okay, to return right now about 22%. Okay, so unrealized gains, that is. And then total dividend received so far, so this is based on the previous years, how much you've received, including up to today basically. And then expected dividend income, so from the companies that you own now, how much are you expecting basically from this the companies that you own right now. So this is more or less yearly, right? Then portfolio yield, so how much in terms of dividend, okay, what is the current yield, and then yield on cost, which is quite nice to see, especially if you're a dividend grower. You want to see your companies are increasing that dividend, and your yield on cost is higher than your portfolio yield, of course. And then how many stocks that you own, or ETFs, whatever you want to call them. And then you've got the years that you've been investing, how much you've invested. Okay, you can just find this from your brokerage. Okay, and then dividend received for each year, and then you can get like this little graph here that shows you visually. Then you've got all the companies that you own in the portfolio and what percentage of that. So sometimes you might realize, okay, for Intuit, for example, I only own 1% in this portfolio, so I might increase that and so on if the price is right. And then total invested against the current value, which is basically this part here. You can see how much you invested in the blue, and then the red is how much your actually portfolio is worth right now. Finally, each company dividend income per stock in pounds. So as soon as you add more companies, this increase basically changes as well. Now let's get into the most important part. Now the yellows are what you need to change, and the first part up to the blue line here is for the UK stocks. You can add more. Okay, you can just right click and add basically more rows. Okay, and then just drag the formulas down. In fact, let me just quickly show, just for this purpose, just add one there, and then all you need to, because there are formulas in the yellow, so just drag down this part there. Oops, sorry, not that one, not the yellows. The yellows are not basically, you're gonna type that, so you can just drag it down just for each one of them. So just like so. Okay, and some of them will stay blank because there are formulas that say don't do anything, even if it's empty and so on. So you just drag it down. Basically, that's all you're doing for the rest. Okay, now let's add a company and to show you exactly how this thing works. Okay, so I am gonna let's add Lowe's, for example. Okay, let's do capital letters. So Lowe's is one of the companies. Okay, and then it gives you all that information straight away. There's some things still missing because we need to add the company information. So I'm just gonna double click here, and the consumer discretionary is the sector. Let's say I bought just 10 shares. Okay, let me find out how much Lowe's is trading at the moment. I've gotten to here to look for, so $227 per share, and then in pounds, because I'm gonna need in pounds as well, let me add one share, so 179. Okay, so let's go back here. So 170, let's go like 178. I'm making a little bit of profit. Okay, if we go back, just double check, 227 is the price for US dollars, 227. The reason we need to add the average cost for the US is because you want to get the average, basically you want to get a real yield on cost. Okay, you need to find out, if you want to find out the yield on cost, then of course add that. So now I've added the price, the yellow bits here on this side is done, and guess what, the rest of it is automatically appears. So I now own 10 shares. This is my average price. As you can see here, total market value is 2,500. My cost basis is 1,780. I'm up apparently 40. No, that was it. Just I had to drag it down. So there you go, 1,780, and then 1,796. So they're basically about 16% up because of that £1, whatever. And as you can see, just a little bit up, 0.92. My holding is about 3.72 in terms of the overall holding. So this is the portfolio value. So 3% of my portfolio, 3.7 of my portfolio right now is Lowe's, and dividend yield $4.37. Okay, the formula here wasn't working for the other one. That's one of the reasons why basically I've done this again. The yield, okay, so 1.92. Yield on cost 193. US, if you live in the US, you don't have to worry about this part. Okay, you can just take that one out. $3.71 is basically after we pay that 15% tax, and then dividend you will have £2.93, 41 pounds in. Okay, now please do not touch this. Okay, I wrote it there, do not change this column, because this is where the information comes from. In fact, you can just hide it so you don't actually have to worry about it, or just to drag it down all the way as much as you want and then just hide it if you want to, or just leave it but don't touch this, because this is where this information comes from. Okay, so I'm extracting it from there, display it first, then extract it, and then so there's a bit of a formula in there, so you don't have to touch it. So that's it. The US basically companies, that's all you need to do. Add basically the ticker symbol. Okay, add the whatever sector it is, all the sectors are there in that drop down. Add how many stocks you want, put the pounds in US, and if you live in the US, okay, just add the US versions there, and then the market price, for example. Okay, it will come up as originally. Everything else will be displayed automatically. You just need to do these 5 things. Now, if you live in the UK and you either own UK stocks, it's slightly different, because we have to now take into consideration, we have to convert it basically whatever the price is right now into actual pounds, pennies from pounds, and then the other way around, and then basically we'll find the cost and all of that stuff. Okay, so for example, Rio Tinto, let's add one. Let's add AstraZeneca, and I'll show you. So I've just added AstraZeneca. Is London, so London, and then call whatever, and then I can add healthcare. Say I bought 20 shares of this company, and then I just need to find out how much per share, basically that right now how much is trading. In fact, you can even see it here. I don't even know why I'm going there. You can see there, okay, there's a market price right now is 90. Is it 98 today? Wait, has it come down? I think I haven't looked at it yesterday. I think it had come down quite a bit yesterday. I think it was the day before. Let me go back here. Yeah, that's interesting. So it's below 100 right now. So let's say I paid it for £98. Okay, as you can see, everything else is right now in place. Okay, the only thing we now need to change is the dividends. So the dividends, to find the UK based companies is quite difficult, because if we use the US versions, it never works. It's never correct. So what I like to do instead is just go to the company website, or go to here. Okay, go to Simply World Street. Okay, so AstraZeneca is the company right now. Is 2.2 in terms of dividend. Dividend per share is £2 and 34. So I'm gonna type. Oops, I'm gonna type that, and then 2.2 is my dividend, and then there you go, £46. That's what I'm getting. So leave this out. You don't need that. Okay, so there's no UK taxes or nothing to pay. US taxes to pay. So there you have it. That is all you need for the UK company. So you put your ticker symbol there, you add all the information that you need. In fact, you don't even need that at all, unless you want to see it for whatever reason. Okay, and then it will do all the yield and cost, basically yield on cost and everything else for you. So that is the first one. The next part is, so that's basically adding your companies. You've done that, automatically updates here. Let me show you. Let me add random. Let's go to Broadcom and add, I don't know, 100 shares of Broadcom. That would be amazing, wouldn't it, to own 100 shares? And you get 1,000, almost to £400. And look at this, £76,000 right now. Portfolio is 140, blah blah blah. So you can see your everything else basically gets increased, and so on. So automatically you don't need to do anything. Right, let's go in here. So the other thing that you need to worry about, you need to basically do, is your dividends. So every month you receive have your own companies, you receive dividends. So for example, in the month of March, say I have received a dividend from Medtronic, as well as I've received it in January. Like if we go here now, what you will see is all you need to do, in fact I'll change the color here, all you need to do is add the names of the companies that you own here. Okay, Medtronic is here. So as you can see, they paid me £22 here, £40 here. Together so far this year they paid me £62. Okay, so it will continue basically adding that. You don't need to do anything else. Right, let's go back here. What's going on here? So imagine in the month of February I got paid by let's just see, what do I have, what companies do I have here? Let's go with J&J. Okay, so J&J has paid me, let's say £100. That's all I have to do. Okay, I've typed that. Now if I go back here, you will see J&J has now basically paid me this month. Okay, if I go back here, dividend received, okay, that's also been reflected here. Okay, so this basically gets automatically calculated. I'll prove it to you. So 369, right? If we go back here and change maybe this to 200, okay, you can see 469. So that automatically goes up. Now that's all. You don't need to do anything in here. You don't need to do anything in here other than put your companies. And when you type this information here, please make sure you type exactly the same, because if I now type Rio Tinto, or if I type basically any of the UK companies without that bit there, the LON, then of course it does not recognize. That's it. And then finally the watch list. Okay, the same as all before, nothing is new. You just put your ticker symbol there, target price from Morningstar or wherever you want to get it from, target price from Seeking Alpha, and then it gives you the average, it gives you margin of safety, and then it tells you basically where there's a buy or not, or hold or wait or whatever. And that's all you need to do. You have everything in one area. So you got the dashboard, which automatically gets updated. whatever, and then you've got here where you just need to type the ticker symbols, drag it down if you need to. If you need more columns, add more rows, sorry, and then of course do that. Please do not touch that because that will ruin your dividends. And then UK companies, you do exactly the same. Here you just need to add the ticker symbol here, how much you got paid, and it automatically updates it. Let's say now, for example, Intuit, okay, for whatever reason decided to pay me £100 for the month of March. Let's go in here. What you will see is this company has now also paid me 100, so I've got $103 from this company for this month. That gets reflected here, that gets reflected everywhere else, sorry, that gets reflected in March and so on. Okay, so there you have it. That is basically what I wanted to share with you guys today. And if you're interested, of course, in getting a copy of this, you just need to sign up to the Patreon account. It will be available as soon as I basically release the video. So yeah, I will add it here. So the updated version, it will be portfolio tracker, basically the new one. And then of course you can download it and do whatever you want to do with it. If you have any questions, let me know. Have a wonderful day. Assalamu Alaikum.